So if it is a dream, then whenever I will wake up, I mean, so many people and so many spiritualists says that, like, once you will wake up, you will understand that this was just a dream, and you that is the awakening process. So that this is very commonly used, that like we are in a right now dreaming position, or we are in a sleeping position, and that's why we don't understand the real meaning of this world. And also there is a concept of voidness. There is a concept of voidness, means that there is nothing after this birth. So all these concepts together, these atheistic people, they are using these different philosophies, so that they don't want to bind themselves into any rules and regulations. They do not want to follow any kind of a shastra, because at least out of fear that, like, if we believe that, like, I'm going to take birth again, and there is a karmic reaction to it, or like if it, at least in this life I'm going to get a karma, if that concept, if you accept that, then out of fear at least you will have to follow the rules and regulation that is given in our scripture. But once you decline that, and once you say that, like, it's just a dream and I'm going to just enjoy, there is no, there is a voidness, there is, I'm not going to get any karma back, then people are free to enjoy. And then they do the things that, like, they are, that is against the shastras, and just for their sensual and pleasure, for their senses to be pleased. And in that situation, these people, uh, they come up with again so many ideas that, like, that this world itself must have been created because of the some strong desire of the sex, or there was some sexual activity, and that's how this world started, and I can continue that. That is their whole purpose of this life. That is a purpose to prove that, like, something is very very wrong, so that I can free from that fear, and I can enjoy and do whatever I want to do. So um, this world is unreal. This world is is foundationless, and is in this world there is a no god. Is a whole, you know this three things, these three concepts are like given in this shloka, that world is unreal. Unreal means like it can be a dream, or it can be like, it's a something from the void. It is created very temporarily. So temporary is the right concept, right understanding here. When we say that, like, unreal or dream, like, more than that, we must say that it is a temporary, because it is real. That is the reason Krishna is coming again and again and claiming us and taking us back. So awakening is a concept that means that understanding that this is a temporary, and there is a something permanent available there, because we are looking at the reflection, but we have to just turn ourselves and look at what is the original. So that is awakening. Awakening means, like, I'm completely engrossed in looking into the water and looking into that reflection, and I'm not getting any kind of a happiness by just looking at the reflection. There is no interaction, there is no connection, there is no enjoyment to that reflection. But when I will turn my back and I will look back to the original thing, then I will be able to touch it, I will be able to enjoy it, and I'll be able to get what I want, what I'm looking for. But instead of that, people think that, okay, so this reflection is just a dream like, and you don't have to worry about that. And there is like very extreme statements about this also. And the second statement is that, like, okay, this reflection is something real, it is created so that I can enjoy. This came out because I was desiring, and for my sake only this world is kind of a created. And I'll just I'll just start enjoying and exploiting it right and left. And there is nothing like a god or something like someone is going to give me punishment. So just be happy and do whatever you want to. And this was the theory that long back one of the person, I don't remember his Vikas Prabhu, do you remember this name of the person who came up with this theory? Okay, let me just take.
Are you talking about Big Bang Theory?
No, no, Big Bang theory is there, but Vakra or Chakra, some name is there. Just a
Or
second.
Charvak?
Charvak, yeah, Charvak theory is there. Charvak is the one who came up with this theory that, like, just enjoy and just exploit, and no one is going to get punishment. There is no life after this. So he propagated this theory so much. So these kind of people are called as a demonic people because they are not only going with this theory and exploiting others, but because of their statements they are diluting the minds of other people also, because faith is so fragile. If someone makes a strong statement, then you really start thinking in that way. So because our mind is very fluctuating because of the maya, because of the three modes or whatever it is, but when some people they make these kind of a statements, it runs towards it and it tries to the doubt. Once it is created in your mind, then it is very difficult to come back and establish that strong faith, and Charvak theory did that. So these people are considered as the demonic people. So I will stop here. If there is anything that you want to say about this, then any comment on it, Vikas Prabhu? Any comment, Aladar Das
Yes,
Prabhuji?
Mataji. Yeah, people talk like this, definitely, because they got all the privilege they have it in this body. They're living, you know, everything's given to them already. So
Mm.
they don't realize. And then they start arguing about it. Once
Mm.
people are talking about this, wait till the time comes for the when they're dying. Maybe or
Mm.
they get the news, oh, you have a cancer and you have a couple months left to live. You got to ask them, what do you believe now?
Mm. Mm. Mm.
You watch them, they be starting Hare Krishna mantra or probably
Mm.
chanting Ram 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 Ram. So
Mm.
they take advantage. They got it, from and Lords don't remind them because of me you got this, because your past births, past
Mm.
karmas, you got this human body. And
Mm.
then you take advantage of these privileges and the things like that. These, but
Mm.
then even though I had people was talking Big Bang theories, and I asked him, okay, sure. What do you think? I have no argument about, but could you tell me where the Big Bang got that power? So yeah, it comes from somewhere. I said, well, what is somewhere? How the
Mm.
Big Bang theory happens? Exploitation happens at when? But before that, where the energy comes from? So
Mm.
then they have no
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
Same thing. The people are ignorant about it. If we can ask them, hey, how does your heart work? Where the energy comes? Who's running your heart? Also, no, it's automatic. I say, yeah, but if it's automatic,
Mm.
why can't you turn it on when it stops? Oh
Mm.
no, that's the way it goes. I said, well, there's some you got the privilege so you can talk like this. I like
Mm.
to see when you're departing from your body, if you're brave enough that time you can talk like this. I like to see it. So
Mm.
be taking advantage of this privilege given by the Lord Krishna. And
Mm.
Lord is watching and probably laughing at them. So wait till you come to the end. Then
Yeah.
they get scared, real scared, more
Yeah.
scared than anybody else. So
So true. Yeah.
thank you, Mata.
Very, very, very nice point, Prabhuji. That, like, because science is supporting so much. This is like, kind of people think that having faith is something very uneducated people do, and whereas, like, doubting is something, means very intelligent people, they have this quality of doubting. But this doubting should have been dovetailed in such a way that, like, you will find a god, you should go into the positive direction. But instead of that, this science and everything is taking us, Darwin theory and all that, that we are started doubting and negating God. That, like, oh, I don't want his existence only. So science is supporting that, and intelligence is shows that, like, doubting is shows the uh, intelligence quality. So that all in all, people think that, like, being atheist is something that shows that, like, they are more intelligent, and they're like a great scientist or something like that. So atheism being seen as a scientific, and theism as a unscientific, in this material world, that is not true, but this is how it is looked. And that is why people are going more and more towards the atheism. So science is merely a tool, and that can support or reject the ideas about the god, but people are just using that science only to negate god, or reject god. Why? Because they are very much hungry or lusty, greedy for the things. And when you accept a god, then you have to follow these rules and regulation, you have to try to fit you into that box, and people don't like that. And then that atheist thinking will come, and they will say that, like, that hindrance whatever is coming in their sexual pleasure, they will just reject that all, and then they will say that there is no god. But as you rightly pointed out, all these people, they will do this when they are having all these facilities to enjoy. Once they are in, like, really bad condition, like, as they say that there is no atheist in a foxhole, what that means is that, like, you are in a very, very difficult time, in a difficult condition. And Krishna also confirms that in Bhagavad Gita, that people who are in really great need, or who are suffering a lot, they automatically turn towards the Krishna, at least to get something from Krishna. Or, like, they go towards the other demigods, like Ravana and everyone. They turn towards the demigod, but they are not considered as a devotees. People who goes to Krishna are considered as a devotee, but people who are not going towards the Krishna, and then they are going towards the other Devi Devatas, they are not considered as a a devotee, because we know Ravan and Kansa, these are the great example. Ravana was he was or even Hiranyakashipu was did all the activities, but he was praising, or he was doing that towards the Brahmadev. He was pleasing Brahmadev instead of Krishna. He was pleasing Brahmadev. If he would have pleased Krishna, Krishna would have changed his heart completely while giving him this giving these boons to him. Or Krishna, not even easily he will get pleased, and he will, like, he will not even fulfill all your desires. He will give whatever is right for you, whatever will help you to progress. So the demonic people, they worship the other demigods, or they worship the powerful people to get, again, what is the purpose? There is a big motive behind that, that I am doing this all the tapasya, but why? Because in return I want something really bigger than that. So they don't even really respect these demigods, but they are using them, and they are considering that it's just a business, that, like, today I'm going to spend this few hours, years in tapasya, so that in return I will get something back. And we see that, like, how everything ends in their life. So demonic people, they end in that same way. But when you are doing the Krishna consciousness, and if you are having these qualities, then you don't have to, Krishna will correct you some or the other way. He will create, he will take away. For if he sees pride in you, he will take away whatever you have. So you have to remember that, and you have to be scared of that pride and dambha. And you have to again and again and check that, like, what kind of a behavior, like, is mine. am I, thinking that, like, devotees lower and upper class devotees, and, like, we do so much of a differentiation. You have to go back and again revise that what is my behavior, is it a right behavior, is it according to the scripture, am I treating all the living being with respect and love, or I am just treating some devotees with respect so that I want something back from them. So these are the things we see so much, like, in and around our community. And we have to also find out that whether I am having this kind of a behavior, and that is a right way. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, so many wonderful points you mentioned. So
Yeah, those people, even, those not believing, wait till their children get sick, their loved one gets sick.
right,
And
yeah,
wait their faces, then they, oh my God. And people say there is no God and there is God. I say, look, both time you using God. Why do you using the name God there? I'm saying there is God and you said there is no God. And both time we using God.
yeah,
Only different is the no. So we have to refer. Doctor is like a God. Oh, save my son, save my wife, save my daughter.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That time they're just the thing, oh, doctor is a God, he's really trying to save me. But
yeah, yeah,
inside they have it, and but they're just
yeah.
due to
Mhm.
ignorance. They're just talking like that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Based on that, I read a article, Prabhuji, that, like, people who are atheist or saying that, like, there is no God, still there is a faith on the basis of that, that there is some faith, and because of that, so faith is always required to prove that God is there and prove that God is not there. Very rightly said, Prabhuji. Thank you
Yeah,
so
and
much.
people say, "Oh, can you show me God?" I said, "Well, if you agree with my demands, I'll show you the God." I said, "What is yours?"
Mm,
I said, "Well, bring me 1 pound of love, bring me 1 pound of anger,
mm,
bring me 1 pound of sorrow, and I'll
mm,
bring the God with me, to see this." So, oh, I
mm.
cannot bring that stuff. Well, you got to have eyes to see it. You got to
Yeah,
feel it. You feel the love, right? You feel the angers, right? Same way
yeah,
you have to feel the Lord. So you have to have a
exactly.
vision.
Yeah,
Inner conscious can see it. It's
yeah,
not a joke. It's not a talk that you can buy in a market.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
So,
got to you have to create the language, same language they're talking.
yes, exactly. And that is exactly, if you see one of the daily Gita, I was reading that parasite, parasite, those who depends on the other plants, they take advantage of other plant and then they grow on that. So, or you can see on the like small worms and all that also. So they live on that. So it is like that. The faith is compared to, like, faith is compared to the thing on which this doubt is cultivating. So they are taking advantage of. Just as a parasite needs to host to survive, doubts need something to question or challenge, specifically
Yeah.
faith or a belief. So, without the underlying presence of the faith, there would be nothing for a doubt to latch onto or undermine. So, this analogy emphasizes that, like, interdependency between this relation of doubt and faith. So, we cannot fully prove or disprove the existence of the God using the logic or evidences. Therefore, atheism, like belief in a God, is also based on the faith. Both need space, faith, because each and everything we can't prove, right? Even like a God exists, to prove that we need faith. So, like that, God doesn't exist. We need a faith underlying that. Yeah.
All the doctors in the world get together and still they don't know the human body, how it functioning totally. They're
Yes.
studying on and on and on and on and on and still don't know anything perfect about the bodies, how it's working. The
Mm.
operations of the body is amazing. Millions of functions going on all the time. And
Mm.
they don't know. If you ask it, oh, we're just trying to find it. Oh, we have to research it. So it's amazing things. But like I say, they granted the privileges, so they don't need a God right now.
Ah.
But still, the body's operating by the God's,
Mm.
order, and they don't realize. So
Yeah.
time comes, the moment comes, and then they are crying about.
Yeah. And that is a that is a main purpose why we get the sufferings, because Krishna wants us to come out of all these illusions and whatever is like, people feeding our minds with, and he wants us to come up. That's a wake up call for us. When suffering comes, Krishna's it's a more of a Krishna's blessings, because that is the time we turn towards him, and that is the right use of sufferings. If in the pain and if in the suffering, if you don't turn towards the God, then like my Guru Maharaj said, that you just wasted that pain, you just wasted that suffering. So right way of using it is you're making your belief stronger.
Accepting it, pain and pleasures, those are two factors we get it according to our past lives. Like
Yeah.
Dhartima asked in Gita Mahatmyam, when Dhartima asked to the Lord Vishnu, she says, Bhagavan Parameshana Bhaktir Avivicharini Prarabdham Bhujyamanam Katam Bhavati He Prabhu. Ma
Mm.
says, how the man could be happy, human being could be happy on this earth. Then Lord says, Prarabdham Bhujyamano Hi Gita Vyasarasada Samukta Sar Sukhilo Ke Karmanano Palipyate. We have to accept whatever pain comes to us at the present life, because this is according to our past karma. We got this body, this
Mm.
yoni. And we are fortunate we got the human body. We understand. We can read. We can communicate easily. By
Mm.
accepting this according to our past life's karma, and then we go to read the Gita or whatever Shastra, Bhagavatam. Then
Mm.
we are clearing up. Past karma gets cleared out. Same time, we are building future lives as a happy life.
Mm. Yeah.
But
So true.
we want to do everything at once. It's
Ah.
not going to happen. We got to face the pain, what we have done in the past, and
Mm.
accepting it. And then we go reading the scriptures or doing chanting or follow the injunctions of the scriptures. The
Mm.
benefits will be in the future. We want it right now. That's all.
Yeah. 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 We want God controller just to provide us everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, not
without
to
doing that.
accept not to accept the other part of it. That is
He
so
will
beautiful.
not do for us unless we try it.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
follow the injunctions, we tried, we become qualified for His mercy, and things will work.
yeah, yeah. Beautiful points, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Anybody else would like to say anything? I see many people on the call. I hope all are paying attention or a little bit getting what we are discussing.
Yes, Mataji, we are.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare
So,
Krishna,
what,
Prabhuji, please.
uh, Haladhar Das Prabhu, I was just amazed to listen to him and, how
Mm,
he challenges when somebody poses a atheistic question.
mm,
You know, his conversation actually prompted a incident in my mind. So, it's an incident that is narrated by a South Indian doctor who has a friend, a Gujarati doctor. It's operation that happened in Surat. Maybe you guys have heard of it. You've seen the video on WhatsApp. So the two doctors are sitting and they are talking. The South Indian doctor says, you are a very well-known heart specialist. So is there something that sticks out in your memory as the most memorable event that you have had in your life? There must be so
mm,
many, perform so many operations. So he says,
mm,
yes, there is one. And the doctor's eyes started to tear up as he is narrating. So he
Mm,
says that there was this small girl who was brought to for a heart surgery, and she
mm,
was born with a defect in the heart, and the parents could hardly afford it. And the surgeries, even before the surgery, he basically told the parents there is like, 1/4 chance that she will survive even after operation, and it's a very expensive operation. So he's basically sort of saying, don't spend too much money, you guys are poor, etc. But the parents say, no, no, we will go for it. So they have the surgery happen on a particular day. So at the time of the surgery, before surgery, the girl says, she's smiling. So the doctor says, don't worry, don't worry. You are in good hands. We'll take care of you. So she says, I am not worried. My mother has said, God sits in the heart. So he's going to
mm,
take care of me.
mm,
So the doctor cannot say anything. He could not, like, he just smiles. And then the girl is under anesthesia. Just before she goes to anesthesia, she says, if you see the doctor, see God in my heart, just tell him that I am happy to have these parents.
mm,
Now,
mm.
Oh my
so
God.
so at that time, the doctor is, he just nods. He has no words to say anything. Then the
Mm,
operation happens. It's open heart surgery. For about, after he's done everything, the blood is still not flowing through the heart.
mm,
Then the doctor is reminded of what the girl said. And
mm,
the doctor then basically, these things happen in a fraction of a second, right? So
mm,
by that time, when the blood has not started to come back, he's kept his instruments down. And then almost he says that she is clinically dead, because by that time, if the heart is not pumping, the body is considered dead. That kind of position is there. And at that time, he remembers what the girl has said. So he says, God, if you are there in the heart, show me you are there, because I have done utmost of what I can do. Now it is in your hands. And then the
mm,
blood starts circulating.
Oh my
And,
God.
so the
mm,
doctor, his life changes from that moment, right?
mm,
The point is, now that doctor, because of the goodness values in his consciousness were bigger and better, was able to remember that and interpret that in a right way.
mm,
Many of us have these kind of miracles happen in our lives,
mm,
small or big, and
mm,
when it happens, we are thankful. But afterwards, we start to think it was coincidence, it was rationalization, this happened, that happened, and that is
mm,
a demonic thinking. Because as we discussed last time, that the in some sense, the demons and demigods stayed on different planet, then they came on the same planet, then they came, say, within the family. In
mm.
Kali Yuga, they are actually within the same person,
That,
and
yeah.
we keep having that fight. And as Prabhuji was saying, so that was the incident. The second point is, you know, demons
Mm,
and demigods, that nature is almost like the painting has taken shape now. But at
mm,
some point of time, there was a blank canvas and strokes were being put on by the painter, which is the soul. So these strokes are basically of goodness, passion, and ignorance, right? And at the end of the day, how many strokes of what color and what type you put, you decide what the end painting is. We think that this is what we have, but it's not what we have. The journey started much before. Uh, and now I'm linking it to chapter 14, where we spoke of, where Krishna is saying that these three modes are they are first, all three are binding, and they are constantly having a struggle between themselves, and one becomes prominent versus the other. So even when Prabhuji, you said that people are in privilege, and when they are in privilege they start to question God, it's basically because what happens when you are in privilege, you have done some good deeds, you have, uh, because of good deeds you get, we are told, it's in Bhagavad Gita, that we get conditioned by happiness and we get conditioned by a certain type of knowledge. if that happiness is not resulting into gratitude, and that knowledge is not nirmalatvam and prakashatmakam, which is what sattva is supposed to be, if that knowledge starts to create some sort of differentiation, I know something better than others, and that happiness makes you complacent, you are immediately going down to tamoguna. So this shows how, we are very, it's a very slippery slope. Climbing is very difficult and slipping is very fast. So we all have to think that we are in a
Mm,
privileged position today because we've done something. But
mm,
from that position of privilege, are we able to create a feeling of gratitude, or we
mm,
are conditioned to continue that happiness and conditioned to continue just being happy with the knowledge and getting more knowledge? If it does not get us into a feeling of gratitude, we are perhaps just stagnating, or we may actually be at a point where we may decline. So, my point is, I am always looking at it and think, you know, in terms of journey, if you just know the day before where you were and today where you are, you know whether you're declining or you're inclining, right? Like 2 points tell you the
mm,
slope of the line. So we should all be introspecting continuously, because that's one way to instill discipline, and always be on the lookout, because fall can happen anytime.
mm,
Those
mm.
were the things I was thinking about. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful
Beautiful.
point.
Oh my
Really
God.
excellent points. Yeah.
I love the way you have explained of the little daughter's heart
Mm,
operation. Oh, they're
mm,
beautiful. Very nice.
mm.
Thank you very much.
Prabhuji, very nice point of that introspecting and then deciding. Like, yeah, very, very wonderful. Anything from you, Geeta Mataji, or I don't know who else is on the call. I can't.
No, I'm
There is.
good, Mate. Only thing I sometimes think, that when we get a lot of, you know, rewards in terms of a good life and, enjoying a lot of privileges on this earth, I remember that I hope I'm not, finishing all my good karma, because, at the end of the day, like Kunti Mata said, then give me a lot of, so that I can remember you, God. Like they say, no, that that if you don't get self realization and you've done a lot of good deeds, you'll get a good life and you'll be. So I'm just wondering, where does this end as to being a bhoga? I don't want to finish all the good karmas in this life itself. So, I mean, it's a little different from what we are discussing, but at the same time, like when you talked about karma, that people don't want to believe God. When you believe God and then you want also not to, um, because sometimes you think it's too good. I wish it. You don't want to suffer, but at the same time, you don't want to also enjoy and finish it off all your good karmas. You know what I mean?
Mm, mm,
But
mm.
one doesn't have a choice, so it's okay. Anyway, thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was, it's a good question, Mataji, and we all struggle. It's not like, we don't have that question or that kind of feeling in our mind. At least I do. Uh, but how I was thinking about that is, in a turbulent sea, you are in a boat. So now the boat is also sinking, but you're comfortable because the boat is better than being in the waves. But the boat is sinking, right? So that's the point, that this world and its happiness is uh, uh, basically temporary. It's almost like you have to work to earn money, and then that money is being saved in the bank account that you can use later on. Goodness or happiness is the same thing. You have to do good deeds, which creates happiness, which you can bank and you can get enjoy next birth. But it is this, you continuously have to, as soon as you say take a cruise, you have a happy event, you have depleted the bank balance of happiness. So you have to build it up. So it's that continuous endeavor in this world to do it. It's not like you have happiness and you will remain in happiness. It's going to go down, because everything that you enjoy, you're spending every moment that past karma. So you have to build it, and that's the struggle in this world. And also, one of the things that was there in the purport is, it says that they think the world is a dream, but they are very expert at enjoying the dream. In some sense, it's the same thing. We recognize that Krishna consciousness is there. This is sort of, we are supposed to be a little detached from this, but we ourselves, even with a little bit of devotion, are very expert at enjoying this dream. So this, every sentence in there by Prabhupada applies to us very, very closely. The Because when I used to read originally Bhagavad Gita, it was almost like it is being spoken to somebody else. But now when we read and when we look at the purport, every sentence should be seen as it is being spoken to me. And then we can understand, oh, does this apply? How much of this applies? And we'll find in various degrees, every sentence and everything, all from chapter 1 to chapter 18, applies to us. Hare Krishna.
Very nice.
Thank you,
explanation.
Prabhuji. Very good explanation. Thank you.
Yeah. To add
Yeah,
to
we
that,
should simultaneously continue to build good credit. Yeah.
So for that, Mataji, I was just thinking about it, that like when you are saying that good credit, and in return, if you want a good life and privilege, but it is a materialistic, then it's like whatever good karma we are doing in a sattva guna, or like, bounded by these three modes of material nature. In sattva guna, you do the good karma in ignorance, or like in tamo guna, you do the passion and tamo combination. You do sometimes incline towards the demonic activities. So it's like you are scared that this, when you are given the privilege, this good karma will vanish. But in a way, it is really good that like we want to finish off like all these karma and get free, because good karma means you are carrying a big uh, load of, say, flowers and fruits. So while carrying that, you are getting really nice smell, but you are carrying it. It is something very stressful for you. Carrying that weight on your shoulders, on your head. You are carrying it and walking. And then the bad karma means you are carrying really trash and everything, and so it's very difficult to carry this weight on your shoulder and head, because there is a dirty smell. There is like, something is coming out of this trash bag, which is like, you're feeling very uncomfortable. So that is the result of carrying your bad karma. As I said the previously, you are saying privilege and that you are getting in this life, and that is because of the good karma, but it is again that you are carrying something, flowers, fruits, but some heavy weight on your shoulders and your head. And that wonderful smell is what is privilege, and you are thinking that like that's what I want to continue. But Bhagavad Gita talks about getting free from both kind of these weights. You don't want on your shoulder either trash or flowers or anything. You want to be completely free without carrying anything, and you want to be in a place where there is an amazing aroma and there is amazing things going on. So that is the purpose of our life. So instead of afraiding and collecting the flowers and fruit, I don't want a trash, but I want flower and food, fruits on my shoulders. We should focus how to get rid of all this weight. So that is what I will say, that like, by reading the scriptures, what we are doing, we are not doing this karma kanda. It's not like some amazing activities where we are learning, of course, to morally how to behave, nicely in this world, how to do the great activities, how to help others. But purpose of that not to collect the good karma or karmic reaction. Purpose of that is to please someone, the controller of this world, and find out more meaning of this world, that like how can I get rid of everything, how can I get rid of and come out of this world which is very, very temporary. Why we are learning again and again that this world is temporary? So that we can go to the permanent place. But if we think that like in temporary world there is a tiny bit of happiness and I was want to stick to it, then you will get involved into the karma kandic activities, and that is what most of the people incline towards it, that they want like a temporary happiness. But here we are studying these scriptures with one purpose of like getting rid of all this burden and going back home, back to Godhead, where there is a Satchid Anand, there is always a, I mean, we haven't experienced that place, but the Shastra is saying that that place is where you will get the amazing kind of like, happiness all the time. So I will say this to your
Yes,
question. I just want to.
thank you, Mataji. That is true. So when you do good karma, don't expect any results in a like I want this, I want that, but do good karma. Then
Yes.
that won't tie you down, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Good karma, do it for the pleasure of the Krishna.
Right,
Good karma, yeah, do it like do all the activities thinking that like, I'm doing helping someone because he is the Krishna's children. And
right.
not that like, I'm collecting good karma and something. And so there will not be a fear of like, I have to, because out of fear people do good karma, and out of fear people turn towards the god, because like they think that like, oh, what if I mean, I have a friend who is in business and he does like so many activities of like, he does really good activities and try to do lot of good karma, but there is a fear somewhere, and on that basis everything is built up. So even if he's doing wonderful activities, lot of charity, his behavior towards each and every person is really nice, but somewhere he's afraid that like, whatever business I had built, it is by the blessings of the God, and what if I do something wrong? He will take away that blessings from me. So that fear is at the base, then it will, whatever you are building is something different. But on the base or on the foundation, there is a love that like, I really love, so I love my children, so there is no expectation. But if I do something to others children, then I at least expect that, oh, people should at least recognize, they should at least reciprocate. So like that, that comes. And third is out of fear. If I don't do it, like, I'm a teacher and I'm not, if I don't do and don't teach it properly, I will lose my job, I'll lose my money, and how will I run my own house? So think about, where and with what consciousness you are doing the karma. So that all I'm not pointing out that you are doing in particular direction, but these are different consciousness, while doing our activities. So we have to do the swadhyaya and think about it, that like what consciousness is on the base of all my good karmas and activities.
Hare,
For the Krishna, by the
Thank you,
Krishna, and
Mataji.
of the Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah,
Mm.
I I wanted to say something, but we are at time, so not sure.
No, go ahead, Prabhuji. Just 2 or 5 minutes. It's fine.
Yeah. So just very quickly, I mean, what we think of happiness and distress is, in some sense, our own concoction of what that should mean. But
Mm.
Shastra speaks of miseries. It doesn't speak of you're born poor, you may not have food, you may have to do 2 or 3 jobs, you may have
Mm.
shelter, you may always have insecurity. Shastra doesn't speak of that.
Mm.
Shastra speaks of miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease. And I always used to wonder, I can understand death can be painful. I can understand old age can be painful. I can see diseases can be painful. I could not fully understand what did it mean that birth is a misery. And then, and Mataji, this is where I'm making it a little gruesome in some sense to understand.
Mm.
Before that, I want to make a point that if you were given a choice that you can have, just as an example, a month
Mm.
of absolute happiness, but an hour of complete torture. So you have to go through 1 hour of gruesome torture to get that 1 month of happiness, will you go for it?
Hmm. And what is the other option, Prabhuji?
Right? So
Hmm.
no, the point is, when we say that we want to have in next birth some good happiness, good karma,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
you, for that to happen, you're actually saying, I want to take the next birth. But
Yeah, that's
birth
right.
really
Yeah.
means that you have to go through old age, death, and
Disease and death.
birth.
Yeah, right.
And while old age may, even within the miseries, old age actually may not be as gruesome and as bad. Death
Mm,
itself may not be as gruesome and as bad. But
mm,
process of birth is extremely painful. I
mm,
point that from month 6 onwards, the embryo, I'm talking human, but this process is gone for every
mm,
type of uh, jiva, from all the way from patal loka to up to maybe janaloka, where
mm.
have to take birth. So the process
Right.
is there, and the process is, at some point of time, the soul has full cognizance of in what condition it is, and it
Mm,
is in a condition where it cannot move. It
mm.
is suspended in an
Yeah,
embryonic fluid that has parasites and is
yeah,
dependent on what the mother is eating. And that's
yeah.
why when the child is born, it has a very raw skin. We see that, but we don't understand. People make poetry around it, that, oh, the mother's womb is the most safest and this and that. But the embryo is sticking out there for 3 months in that position. Extreme pain. We, our Shastras say that actually in that painful condition, extreme pain, the soul gets God realization and promises, as soon as I am born, I will stop doing all this. But when we are born, we are told, oh, your name is this, and you're this, and you're that. And generally, we, even in, this is the funniness and the happiness, the sort of, irony that Krishna inserts. The point is, even in movies we've seen, somebody gets some trauma, they have memory loss. We
Mm,
suffer memory loss. The trauma of coming out of the womb
mm,
makes that soul suffer the loss of that knowledge of realization. And as soon as it is free from that pain, it starts to feel comfortable and happy, and then see
mm,
what, and gets immersed into what is around. My point
mm,
is, uh, you know, uh, when we think of having some good karma to avoid the kind of miseries we think, these are really
mm.
not true miseries. Shastra describes miseries as birth,
Exactly.
old age, and
Mm.
disease. Hare
Right.
Krishna.
Right. Right. Thank you, Prabhuji, for all these examples. So, Mataji, what I was saying, like trying to remove the burden means that's what exactly both of us are saying, that like we don't need this kind of a temporary happiness in this world. We have to think about something where we will not come back again in the womb of a mother, or not take birth again, or not even go through wonderful 1 month of happiness and one 3 hour 1 day of torture. What Prabhuji is saying, that means that we don't want to come back again and again in this material world. So we should be looking for the ways to get out of this world permanently. And also Prabhuji was saying some point which was there in the Haladar Das Prabhuji's talk also. So all in all, like purpose of our Bhagavad Gita study is get rid of this karmic reaction, karma, and start doing the akarma, means doing the karma only for the pleasure of the Krishna, and that is the only way to go back home, back to Godhead, and not to come back in this material life and suffer this birth, death, you know, disease, and all these kind of a suffering and old age. So I hope you're fine, Mataji.
Yes, thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Excellent, excellent points.
Mhm. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for participating. Thank you, Vikas Prabhu, Haladar Das Prabhuji, for answering and putting forward so many wonderful points. Thank you, Geeta Mataji, for your wonderful question. So we will end our discussion here. Is there anyone other than we four who wants to talk or make any comment? There is a Surinder Brahmandari and Rita Vora. I see these two phones.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Surendra Bhandari. Everything is very well explained and everything in a very simple language. It is really beautiful and it is my so much honor to you and all. I'm attending this lecture daily.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Prabhuji. Hari Hari Bol. Please feel free, Prabhuji, to make any point, or if you like any point, or if you have any question, please feel free to jump in anytime. These are discussions, so anyone can participate, and I definitely encourage you to participate. So yeah, thank you,
Thank,
Prabhuji, for attending these lectures.
thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. So we will end here. Actually, I wanted to share some wonderful things about the Rath Yatra because I was there in New York yesterday. So many people, Vikas Prabhu from Toronto and Montreal, they came to attend this yatra. And I happened to get very less, just 3 hours we were there in the New York, 3.5 hours, but like almost 9 hours we were traveling, just going back and coming back. But in that 3 hours, whatever we received, I mean, Guru Maharaj explained so wonderful meaning of Rath Yatra, why we do this Rath Yatra. And also, in the bus, continuously, devotee was talking about different stories and pastimes. So I just thought of like sharing today. But there is, it's 8:40. So next time we will, if I remember anything, I will definitely share next time. Just to go back a little bit away from our chapter, but then what this Rath Yatra, because everywhere this season is like now started, and we will see Rath Yatra in every part of a country, state. So just discuss, we will go over it a little bit next time, and we'll continue our 16th chapter. So thank you again. Hari Hari Bol, Hari Krishna, Radhe Radhe. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा
कल्पतरुभ्यश्च
सिन्धुभ्यो
कृपा
एव च
सिन्धुभ्यः पतितानां
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद
वैष्णवेभ्यो
की
की
जय।
जय
हरे
नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय।
की जय
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
की
भगवद
जय
गीता की जय।
जय
श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय।
जय
जय। राधे
Haribo,
राधे।
thank you so much for mentioning about Rath Yatra, and yes, please next Sunday you can explain. And Vikas Prabhu was there too. I didn't see Prabhuji.
No, Vikas Prabhu was not there. I was just mentioning to him that so many people from
Yeah, Canada. Okay.
Canada, they were there. I met many devotees from
Oh
Canada there.
yes, it was a really sadhu sangha. And for
Thank you so
spiritual.
much. Yeah. Hari Hari
Thank
Bol,
you.
Radhe
Hari
Radhe.
Bol, Hari Bol.
हरे
Haribo,
कृष्ण माता जी
Hare
धन्यवाद
Krishna.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.